Hello everybody and welcome to another rant here on JDTV here and on YouTube. For the first part of this program, we welcome all you people on YouTube that are watching this live as well. Happy Father's Day, and our hearts go out. They do it lately, don't they? Our hearts are going out. A lot of hearts are going out everywhere. Our hearts and our thoughts and prayers go out. There's lots of people seems to be getting lots of hearts and lives. Is it a cheap thing to say? But my heart does go out actually, and I feel for Andrew Marr, who had to change his programme today. He wasn't on it. There was the other funny bloke with a baldy head. Looks like his hair's been parted by Moses. Anyway, Andrew, I'm sorry you've lost your father. It's hard when you're in you've got to carry on that brave face and you're with your family. Anyway, I know I've said you've sold your soul a bit, and I do believe that you have. You're a brilliant man, and I hope it's not too painful for you this on Father's Day. We'll speak about my father later on when we finish with you guys on YouTube, but we've got to get off to a sort of a sober start really. We can't do this programme without mentioning what happened in Reading. Funny enough, my son, who is here today, he's out in the garden distancing himself for me. Actually, he's pissed and asleep. But we can't distance ourselves from what happened in Reading. And he was there last night while it was all going on. And of course, our hearts, seriously, we think of these poor people that have lost loved ones because of this action by whatever caused this action, and the people that are injured. Our hearts and minds do in fact go out. Seriously, we got no hearts and thoughts left. There's so many things happening lately. But anyway, let's not just jump to conclusions. I had a few people I've noticed on Facebook and Twitter saying this is what happens with Black Lives Matter, this is what's gone on. No, a spokesman for Black Lives Matter said everyone had buggered off by then. We don't know who this is. This is probably some terrorist action. You know, now it's pointing at this man was from Libya, so obviously he must be a terrorist. He's from Libya. Maybe he was mentally ill. We don't know the answer. Let the police work it out. Let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not fall into that trap, the bigoted trap. Hark at me. But anyway, the one thing that I noticed is that a lone police sergeant rugby tackled this man and stopped him from any more violence. So at least one copper knows what his knees are for. And those knees are to run towards danger like our police do all the time. And so well done him, and good for him. The other thing is, you know, I know I shouldn't, but I just found it a bit odd when the follow-up was that a whole SAS fancy dress party as police turned up at this bloke's flat. Now, can you imagine a flat in Reading? It's probably as big as a fucking shoebox. And 1,000, right, come on you lot, do you remember that? Life of Brian, right, just wait, they all run in. They must have done that, right, we're in. Anything? I don't know, we can't see anything, we're all fucking wedged. Come out, we can't get out, we can't turn around, we're coming out the window, don't shoot. Well, let's hope they find out what it is. And I'm not making light of this, I'm just trying to get my head around all the things that's going on. What next? The fucking plague of locusts. Anyway, I feel for you people who have lost people for this, and I'm sure justice will take its course. Okay, so come on police, come on pretty, let's find out what the fuck is going on here. And you know what, I saw today in the paper, there's 14 pictures of various people from the BLM marches that the police are looking for. They're asking for the public to help. Can you help us find these men? Well, perhaps if you weren't kneeling so much, you could fucking stand up and have a look and see who was doing it. Okay? Get a grip. What's the matter with you? Anyway, I got contacted by a guy from the Football Alliance who said, I saw your thing on the TV and thanks for tuning in, whoever you are, but he said, there is such a thing as a Football Alliance. I didn't know there was. And he had a little chat to me about stuff, and he said they don't like being branded as being far right. I don't know what they do. I sit here, what do I know about football alliances? But he didn't like to be called far right. And if you look at it, most of the blokes down Charlton, all the blokes from the covered end that sing and chant and do, they're a bit lefty. They're all sort of Labour people, like most, you know, a lot of people are down Charlton. They don't like me that much, because I took the piss and called them Charlton nil. But anyway, so let's, we don't want to be called far right. It's funny, isn't it? Protesters and far right thugs. But there you go. Now, see, the other thing about BLM, which I think is a really, really worthy cause to do, we'll talk about that in a minute, But now it's gone a bit silly. Dick Van Dyke, right? The bloke in Mary Poppins. Dick Van Dyke, right? He's been accused of being awful and a racist because of the black face that he had when he was doing Mary Poppins. He was a fucking chimney sweep, for Christ's sake, right? So not only has he explained that, it wasn't a blackface thing, right? Now, the lesbian department of the LGBT alliance, right, said they objected to his surname, Dick Van Dyke. They didn't like his surname. Right, and the gay men of that department of that same alliance said they also thought his first name was slightly appropriate and rather sexist by calling his name Dick. And for good measure, the Road Haulage Association want to disassociate with Dick Van Dyke because of the word van. They think it's not right. So apparently, before his statue is turned down and his film is burnt and never to be seen again, he has removed himself from history and has renamed himself Dildo Truck Feminist. I love that Mary Poppins. Did you see old Dildo? Jim Jiminy, Jim. Anyway, I have got a picture, talking of blackface, of a bloke called G.H. Eliot, who was known as the chocolate-coloured C word, but it hasn't got a T in it. It's a chocolate-coloured, rhymes with bood, and that was his name. Harry Enfield got into trouble on Radio 4 for mentioning him because they had a go at they had a go at Harry Enfield and Whitehouse, who I think are brilliant, but both lefties, and he blacked up to do Nelson Mandela, which I thought was very, very funny. And now, of course, he's in trouble with that. And he mentioned G.H. Eliot and what he was called, and they said, "How dare you say that word?" He said, "Well, that was his name. I'm sorry." So what else is going to happen? Anything that has anything to do with anything. So what are we going to do? We're Blazing Saddles. We can't see that anymore, can we? Guy Gibson's dog. Right, Guy Gibson, leader of 617 Squadron, he had a dog called N-Word. And the actual dog is buried at RAF Scampton. So this is what's happened to G.H. Eliot, the chocolate-coloured person. He didn't do minstrel doodah. He dressed up to look like a black person that could sing the blues and sing. He had that song, Swanee, no, what is it? By the light of the silvery moon. But none of that minstrel shit. Anyway, they've only covered up his gravestone in case it gets vandalised, or they're ashamed that he's buried in their ground. It's ridiculous. So we're going to dig up Guy Gibson's dog. I'll tell you what we do. Let's dig up Guy Gibson as well. Tear down any statues or paintings of Guy Gibson because he dared to call his dog the N-word. It will probably get changed in history. His name will, I don't know what they'll call him, but they'll have to do something. And it's ridiculous. Someone's moaned now about Uncle Ben's rice. Why is there a black person? Why is Uncle Ben a black person? Well, shouldn't you be proud of Uncle Ben, if there is? Was he a black person that did the rice, or was it a piss take? I mean, he's done very well. Everyone has that rice. It's like MacDonald. I mean, he's really prospered since he had that fucking farm, isn't he? Really? And what about Kentucky Fried Chicken? He looks a bit white, if you ask me. That Colonel Sanders, he looks like he'd have slaves. Fucking get rid of him as well. Now, I'm serious. This is, if we want to take away everything, let's fucking take away everything. So, what else? We're now doing songs. I've got some songs here that we ought to take away. Let's have a little look. Okay? So, we've got to remove certain songs. Okay? And for Christ's sake, do not ask that fucking sheep for any wool. Okay? Now, minstrel songs, I don't like them. I never liked the black and white minstrels. And I had them once in a theatre. Working me in a theatre. It was funny because there was a little gay man, friend of mine called Simon. I did panto with him, and when I went to the theatre, I was in the wings, and this minstrel started talking to me, and he went, "Oh, hello, it's me, Simon," and he pulled up his wig like that, was a little white bit, as if to say, "It's me," and he was talking, he said, "Oh, it's a nightmare, we're not being paid, the fucking room's terrible, we're not getting," oh, he said, "It's freezing here, the audiences are not turning up," it's a fucking, oh, hang on, "We toss and tell and we land in jail," and step back. He went from drag act to minstrel to drag act again. And I never liked him, even though Francine Lewis was in that show, and I quite like her a lot. But I don't like all that zippity-doo-dah and all that stuff. I do think it's a piss take and should have been shut down ages ago. And it probably wouldn't have given Lenny Henry the leg up that he wanted. How shameful he must feel. Don't feel shameful, Lenny. It was nothing. It was then. It's what happens now. But they want to tear down that song... I say tear down as if it's a statue. Are they still pulling statues down? I notice they don't want to take Churchill down. You know why? Too fucking heavy to move. He was 18.5 stone in skin and bone. What's he going to be like in bronze? They're going to take down Gandhi. He was only 3.5 stone, wasn't he? Statue's only going to be, what, 4 stone? Anyway, right, so let's get back to Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. You know what that is? Is it a slave song? I don't know. Do people know it's a slave song? Why is it something to do with the England rugby team? Because it is a rugby song. You remember rugby songs? You don't, do you? It's where all men together on the piss sing dirty songs. The mayor of Bayswater has got a pretty daughter, and the air from a dicky dido hangs down to her knees. There's loads of them down in a coal mine shoveling coal. Loads of them type of songs. And that one, sweet, because it's you all do this. It's the actions you do. It's not the words. It's not racist at all. Swing low, sweet child, coming for to carry me home. So it's like a sort of a party trick. How are you going to stop 60,000 people at Twickenham singing that? Well, good luck to you. I don't think it means any harm at all. I really don't think it does, unless it's meant to cause offence. There's got to be an intent to cause offence, haven't they? So let's say goodbye to you YouTubers, and we're going to go on to www.jimdavidson.uk. In fact, join today, because at 7 o'clock there's a fantastic show on after I finish this, and it's called, I'm in it of course, but it's about Stanley Kubrick and my part in a movie with John Malkovich. It's fucking great. It's about 45 minutes of brilliant footage. And another film I did called A Z and Two Noughts with Joss Ackland. Hello, my dear. Couldn't understand a fucking word of it. Anyway, tell all your friends, sign up to JDTV, okay?
I don't care, do I?